Hey, Jeannie Lynch, welcome back to my channel. Let me do a quick layup to today's video and my content today. So excited to share this with you. Spiritual connections, right there. Check them out. Just started working with them. They came into my house a few months ago, and they are advanced practitioners right here in Venice. And as you know, I love collaborating with other YouTubers. And on the way out the door, they said, YouTube is our next step. And I said, well, wait a minute. How are you going to go about doing that? And that's how we started collaborating together. I'm actually doing their visuals for their channel, but I'm so excited to bring all their content, meditations and spiritual modalities, and so much rich wisdom and insight from these amazing healers. And today I'm going to get on and share their story, their past, present, and future. And on my channel, all you're going to get is just the appetizer to that full video, which I'll tag it. You're going to be able to watch on their channel because I want to navigate people over there and I want to introduce them to you. And this is the way I see fit to do that. So, will you join me today? Will you get a taste of Joe and Patricia and spiritual connections? And let me share these two amazing light beings and their work with you. And let me tell you, their work feels a lot like play to me because they bring spirituality to mainstream and they make it so much fun. Oh, and so rich. Okay, let's get to the video. It's coming up next. The first question I had to ask was what placed you both on the spiritual path? Let's hear how Patricia started her journey.
Together. And I said, you know what, Spirit, I'm ready. And I turned around and my shoulder brushed a book, and it was Autobiography of a Yogi. And I saw his face, Yogananda's face, just smiling at me from that book that had fallen on the floor. And I knew the time was right. And every day from there, it was just this magical unfolding of a world that I knew existed, but I didn't know how to get there. And so that became step one. And each pebble along the way just kind of was there when I was ready.
I'd have to say that my spiritual path really opened. I grew up on an island in Antigua in the West Indies, and my grandfather held court with his grandchildren, taking us outside in the evening to look at the stars. And I remember him pointing out Orion. And I had this, even as I'm telling you the story now, I've got the goosebumps up and down my arms. Looking at Orion on a hillside in Antigua was compelling. It felt like a mystical attachment. And I didn't really know where that was going to lead to, but like Patricia, I grew up in the Catholic religion. And at a point in time, the nuns and the priests couldn't answer a lot of the questions that I had. And by the time I got to college, I was opening up and looking in different directions. And you mentioned about these books that happen. Patricia mentioned Yogananda. Well, for me, it was 1972, and Yogananda came into my life with the Autobiography of a Yogi. And this was a spiritual master with a compelling story that captivated me. And I've probably read that book 11 times. I call it a desert island book because if you get stranded on a desert island, you want 5 books. That's one of them.
Okay.
But Yogananda explained in chapter 42 all about cosmic, intergalactic
experiences, which tied me back to Orion in my childhood. So it opened up teachings that I had not experienced before. And then subsequent to that, Patricia and I met Roy Eugene Davis, who was a direct disciple of Yogananda. He was one of the last two still alive. And we routinely visited him in North Georgia. And we studied with him for 7 years. And he told the most incredible personal stories of who he called Master. Mm-hmm. And before Roy died in 2019, he initiated us into Kriya Yoga. And one of the things he said to both of us was, go and teach as Master taught me.
My next question is, what spiritual modalities do you have in your metaphysical toolbox? Basically, how do you serve your clients? I talk quite a bit on my channel about spiritual modalities and the toolbox that we have. And I think as healers, we're never done. We're always expanding, and right. and the techniques that we're using are ancient, but yet here we are in this place that we are today, which is ascending in the new earth and the whole bit. Take us to your toolbox of what you do to serve others through modalities. I want to get into that next.
Okay. Toolboxes, especially metaphysical ones, are fabulous because they transform themselves as we become more open to the truth of this universe, to the truth of the oneness. And so I've grown quite a bit from where I started, and I started in the healing modalities. Healing touch, Reiki, and quantum touch. And all that does is open you to the one energy, right? There's just the one. And when you really get down to it, there's just the one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense until you start working with it, but then it starts to make sense because it's what it is. It's the truth of what this universe is, that we're all made out of this one thing, this one essence, and it's conscious, and I believe it's loving and embracing, and I cannot put a gender on it because it is just so far beyond any of that, but it embraces us in a way that we cannot possibly fathom. It's just beyond our human experience to be able to comprehend it at all, like putting an ocean into the thimble, right?
Yeah.
That kind of analogy.
Yeah. What about Joe? Joe, what do you have for yours? Do they mirror Patricia, or are they the same?
Not exactly. Somebody asked me once, what do you guys teach? And the only thing I could answer was, I said, we're kind of eclectic spiritual universalists. We have taken 40 plus years of training with mystery schools like the Rosicrucians. We've studied with Hindus. We've studied with shamans in Peru. We've studied with Sufis, the Kabbalah. And what we do is we kind of sift through all of that.
Yeah.
And then let it come out the bottom and take it and repackage it and present it for the 21st century in words people can understand, and have it apply to their personal lives or the direction they want to go in. Take the mystery and the mumbo jumbo out of it and just get to the heart and essence of what these teachings are. And at the end of the day, they all teach the same thing. Patricia just elaborated on the one, and it is that. It is oneness.
I think we have a beautiful thread that we're all talking about. That's the same point. And we started by I had the same experience with my religion, brought up Catholic. After I lost my daughter, sitting in the pew going, oh my God, my arms want to come up, but they can't because they just couldn't. I just felt so contained, and not to dog that religion in any way, because I'm still very connected to it. But all these religions have the same oneness to them, don't they? They all have something beyond ourselves. They all have consciousness. They all have
Right.
serving others and loving self and kindness. And you can put it into any language or any different language. So I think we can all agree, right, that when we're talking about the one, there's not one path. There's so many paths, but it's all to that truth that I think we all are talking about. Right. So you're sharing the truth of all and then exposing people to the different modalities. So your toolbox is spreading as
It's
we speak.
varied, and I always say there's no one path up the mountain. There's so many paths going up to the top, and some of them crisscross and some of them spiral, but everybody's going to the same place.
My favorite question in every interview: share a spiritual message out to the world.
I'll offer this, and I'll let Joe talk about the blue light meditations. What I want to offer is this: what you focus on, that is what you're going to get. And this is 2024. Pluto is moving out of Capricorn finally, where it has revealed all kinds of corruption and the ugly underside. It is moving into Aquarius, and Aquarius will bring about a lot of changes, and changes can be scary, and it can be a really good thing. And you don't get rid of that, what it revealed, the ugly, without the change, and sometimes like birth. So what I'd like you to focus on is the world you want to see, not what's happening. Don't look at the headlines. I really implore you, stop reading the news, stop listening to the news, turn off your television. This isn't a Pollyanna thing. This is how you create your reality. Individually, your life is going to be a reflection of the things that you focus on. And together, what we focus on as a collective is the world that we're going to see. So I'm inviting everyone listening to this to focus on the world we want to see. Look at the good. Find the good and be grateful for it. Find the good and praise it. And remember, this is something Edgar Cayce said, there is more good in the worst of us than we can imagine. And there's more bad in the best of us than we care to admit. So focus on the good and we will see it.
I love that. Thank you, Patricia. That was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Joe.
Every year on the winter solstice, we'll sit quietly and just ask for guidance through one word that will guide us behaviorally or emotionally or intellectually for the coming year. And it's always a big deal for us because the winter solstice is such a vibrant time. You're going into the dark times, but it's also the day when light starts to return. And we will take that word and it governs whatever we do for the coming year. And the word can be things like patience or diligence or a resolve. And then you just have to get underneath that word. Whatever you perceive is happening or you think is happening, something greater is always going on behind that impression. And it's a greater spiritual truth and a plan for humanity, if you will. We get bogged down in the weeds of social media and whatever's on the news. Patricia's already said, I implore you, turn it off. All you need to do is read a headline. And if the headline's crazy, pass it by.
Yeah.
At the end of all of this, no matter what you think is happening, keep your sense of self and the image you want to bring forward, and hold your personal light high and aloft. Because whatever you think, you will deliver it. If you're thinking it's awful, I guarantee you that's what you're going to experience. If you think it's okay and wonderful, it will be. And after all is said and done, after it's all goes by, it's all okay. It's all going to be okay. Believe that, feel it, and trust in that. That's my message.
Words to live by. Absolutely love both.
And do it with gratitude.
Yeah.
Do it with gratitude, because that's Patricia's practice that she's taught pretty much everybody in her circle of influence.
Yeah, agreed. I follow Patricia on Facebook, and she puts up every day her gratitude practice and shares it with the world and inspires other people. And I'm living vicariously through her gratitude. It's just been wonderful. So I love that. Hey, one more question before we get to your community questions, and then we're going to wrap up our interview. So the next question is the burning question everybody has, which is, where are you two going? Are we going to lose sight of you? Are you changing and transitioning out so that, you're handing this practice over to someone else and someone else is going to be standing up doing the work that you've been doing? Or what's going on? So take us there. We're all nervous to ask this question, but everyone in your community wanted to know what's next. What's next is Blue Light Meditations. Patricia and Joe invite you to partake in a global initiative. And you're going to watch a little video clip. And please know that all the links, if you'd like to learn more or get involved, will be in the show notes. So here's a little bit about Blue Light Meditations. Enjoy. Hello. Are you feeling just a tad blue today? Did you make the mistake of watching the news beyond the headlines? Are you looking to create more stillness and silence and spaciousness within you, but also out into the world? How would you like to commit to a 9-minute monthly practice with us as a community? We're doing this global initiative, Spiritual Connections with Joe and Patricia, invite you to join us on this beautiful endeavor to raise consciousness. Everything you need to know is in this post. So here's my question. Are you interested? We'd like to put more light in the world. And guess what? It starts with you. Bye now. You asked and we answered. You asked for a longer version for the 3 portals meditation. So there is now a 17-minute or a 9-minute to choose from. Let's get back to find out what's next for Joe and Patricia.
Patricia, you want to
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds.
So, as far as the future, we've had to admit that doing things in person has gotten to be quite difficult, especially the nighttime meditations. So this is the final year to be meeting in person at night at rising tide. And we don't intend to abandon ship. We're just admitting to the fact that the body is wearing out a little bit, but I think that Spirit will let us know when it's time to quit. And I have not seen my pink slip. Been looking, but Spirit is still saying, we've got stuff for you to do. So thanks to you, Jeannie, we have a YouTube channel, and we intend to be much more active in that way. There's a place nearby here called Spirit University, and it happens to be very close to our home, and we're looking to do more things there, short classes and workshops, and there'll be daytime things, probably on weekends and that sort of thing. So no, we're not going away, and we're just kind of moving into whatever the next phase is. And however that looks, I think we're going to be guided. And obviously, because Spirit brought you to us, and there's no denying that. And you do make magic happen on YouTube when you get hold of a video.
Thank you.
We could never do that. So thank you.
Thank you for that. So Joe.
I would also say that as far as all the listeners are concerned, don't be alarmed. We are not disappearing. We're not on the next shuttle to Mars. We are staying put. We're just going to do things differently. And I will be quite honest with you. We have done the women's meditations nonstop for 18 years. It has been a ride and a joy, but we are both so energized doing things differently. We get excited about, ooh, did you see what Jeannie just put up? Ooh, how can we do this? And one of the things that's really captivating both of us, and truly almost like lit a fire, were the BlueLight Meditations. And those are, they started in November with a small group of people, and all of them had so many experiences from it. It has grown into a global initiative. We've piggybacked on it. And as of yesterday, there are 100 people now signed up to do that BlueLight meditation Saturday morning with us, including 2 large groups in the UK. So these meditations are, the theme is for the raising of human consciousness, which sounds great and grandiose, but it's really a call to action that we as spiritual beings and light workers who have an awareness of what is going on this planet, we harness our energies and open doors for the return of human kindness, human love, human respect, human compassion for one another, so that we can get out of this sticky stuff that the planet has been. It's like we've been walking in this dark tar, sticky stuff for a number of years. It is time to step up and start shining lights on what we want to deliver. And these BlueLight meditations have become a beacon for others to do the same.
Those that can be on, Joe and I are committed to doing live every month on the second Saturday of the month at 11 a.m. And those that are able to get in, great. If not, you'll be able to just join us on YouTube.
Got it.
But this feels like this is going to be so powerful and empowering. You will feel like you are doing your bit.
How do people become part of your newsletter that Joe mentioned in the beginning? Is that capped off too, or you have to have a special invitation for that, or can anyone get your newsletter? Anybody
can get it. Men, women, children. It's all they have to do is go to the website.
I'll put the link up right now on a show notes or on the
Yeah.
visuals for everybody. They click on this link. It takes you out there. They sign up for the newsletter. And this is not your normal newsletter, people. I have to do a little disclaimer here that is bogging up your email and you're going to get 1,000 things from Joe. This is like you create a folder for the information coming through because it's something you would leave in your calendar printed, because there's so much valuable information in it. You do such a fabulous job. Love that. Last call. Any closing remarks before we leave today? Thanks for watching. Did I forget anything? When you knew I was going to interview you today and you wanted to make sure things got said, did everything get said? Or what would you like to leave us with as a closing remark so we can wrap this up and get people back to their day?
I think that for myself, we've covered just about everything. But in closing, I would like to ask everyone who's listening to just close your eyes just for a moment and just breathe. I don't know if you know, but just closing your eyes for a few seconds, that changes your brain waves out of beta, which is our day-to-day anxiety-driven pattern, and moves you into the alpha state. Just closing your eyes, you're more relaxed. And now I would imagine a peaceful thing, like a beautiful sunset, or a walk in a beautiful park-like setting, or maybe glancing at someone very special in your life. And now say thank you. And you can open your eyes. You have just taken a short meditative break. Do this often during your day and see if it doesn't help you find more balance in your life.
Thank you, Patricia. That's beautiful. Joe.
Well, there was a 13th century mystic named Julian of Norwich. And she said she had a divine experience where the light appeared to her, and it came with this message: all is well, all manner of things are well, and all shall be well. Just remember that.
Thank you, everybody. All the show notes will have all of our links connecting you to these two amazing women. Don't forget to follow both of the channels that this video will be on. This is the way we get to tell the algorithms that we want to be seen by more people to put more light in the world. So that is truly the intention of both of our channels. So thank you both for your time today. Thank the audience for staying clicked in. We'll see you all next video.
And thank you, Jeannie, for all the work you do on behalf of so many.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, join us April 20th for the video premiere of the full video on Joe and Patricia's channel. Information will be in the show notes. We will also be raffling off their book that got them both started, Autobiography of a Yogi. So excited. So come network with us. We'll see you then. Bye now.